When men meet that special person, right? That special somebody that they know she's different from everybody else that they've met in their life, there's a particular way that's very, very common for men to describe that experience. I've had probably 6 or 7 friends in my life, best friends, who have met that person. And when they start describing her, there's this, okay, this one's different. And almost always it turns out to be the one for them. And the way they describe it is this. They'll often say, man, she's different from everybody else that I've met. And being with her is just easy. It's like I feel at peace with her, or I feel at home with her. And then they go on to describe how that feeling is. And so if we unpack this, what is this sense of peace or home that a man feels? What contributes to that creates this irresistible experience where he's like, wow, this experience is different from anything else that I've had? Well, to support us in this, I've created an acronym out of the word peace. And we're going to look at 5 attributes that you already have, that when we dial these up, it creates this beautiful experience for the two of you together. So let's take a look at the word peace and let's unpack it. Look at this first letter, P. That stands for positive possibilities. You see, every one of us has the power to choose what we're going to focus on. And we're either going to focus on the things that can go right, the opportunities that are in front of us, or we're going to focus our minds on why it's wrong, why it's bad, and what's not going to work out. And the well-trained mind doesn't ignore circumstances. It's not just making up lies and saying, oh, everything's great when it's not, but it's taking what's there and saying, okay, what positive possibility can we make out of this? Because when you're in a partnership, you know really right away whether you're the one who's going to hold the weight of overcoming all of the challenges, or you're going to be able to share that with somebody. When a man's with a woman who he knows is going to link elbows with him and face the world together and have the mindset that says, no matter what we face, we're going to be able to overcome this and create something great, because she can see positive possibilities, that is magic. Let me give you an example of this. There's a woman that I coach, her name is Barb, and she is an author. She's written all these books. Barb has a mindset where she looks for positive possibilities. This mindset that says no matter what challenge that she's facing, she's going to find a way to overcome that. In Barbara's life, she lost her husband. Her husband passed away. And as painful as that was, Barb's belief system is that her life wasn't over, and one day that she would find love again. And she did, and she met this amazing guy named Brian. And so Brian and Barb built their life together, and one of Barb's dreams was to get her book made into a movie. She wrote a book called Guiding Emily about a blind woman and her guide dog, and it got turned into a movie by the Hallmark Channel. And so Barb's idea was to do a premiere with this movie to raise a bunch of money for the Foundation for Blind Children. So they planned this big event. It's sold out, and they're going to show the movie at this Foundation for Blind Children Center and raise all this money and have a great time. A few days before, the foundation calls her and says, hey, we need to get legal permission. We thought we didn't, but now we think we do, from Hallmark and so on and so forth. Anyway, the lawyers talked. Turns out they can't show the movie. And so the foundation is saying to Barb, should we cancel this? I think we should just give people their money back. And Barb was committed to raising money for this foundation. And so Barb tells them, she's like, don't cancel the movie. We're still having this night. We're still going to do the fundraiser. In fact, we're going to do something even better than showing the movie. They were like, great, okay. They hung up the phone, and Barb looked at her husband, Brian, and was like, what am I going to do? And she was like in full on panic mode, but she knew that if she just took a stand for something positive, a possibility, that possibility would exist. And so as they began to brainstorm, what could we do? They thought, you know what? Here's what would be better than the movie. What if we took people on a behind the scenes journey of making the movie and all the things that went wrong and the things that went right, and really giving them so that when they watch the movie, they can see the backstory to all these different scenes. And so she said, brilliant. She spent 2 days putting together this PowerPoint. It was an hour-long presentation. The night of the foundation celebration, everyone comes. It's a sold-out house. It's packed. And so Barb's greeting everybody. The time for the presentation starts, and Barb lets them know, I know that we are expecting to see the movie, but I've got something even better in store for us. And she described the scenario, and then she went into her presentation, and she captivated that audience for over an hour. And at the end, the president of the Foundation for Blind Children came up to Barb and said, Barb, I don't know how you did it. I thought we were going to have to give everyone their refund and give all of this money back to them, but you created something that really was better than the screening of the movie. Everybody is raving. Barb had a sigh of relief, gave them a hug, and said, I'm so grateful to be able to raise all of this money for these children who need it. That is a beautiful example of positive possibilities. Because in life, there's always going to be challenges, but within every single challenge is the seed of an equal or greater possibility for good, if we're willing to look for it, find it, and cultivate it. And so when you build that muscle in yourself, you set yourself apart from so many people, because so many people haven't yet cultivated the strength of that quality in themselves. The E in peace stands for embrace the present moment. In other words, be here now. You see, we're spiritual beings having this human experience. And anytime we can connect to the spiritual side of our nature, it feels life-giving. It feels grounded, it feels peaceful, it feels centered and expansive. And one of the quickest ways to do that is to move into the present moment. And so much of our lives, we're focused on the future and task-oriented and let's get it done and let's get there. And when we're doing that, we're missing the fact that life is happening right here and right now. So one of the magnificent attributes of the feminine is the ability to draw the masculine into the present moment, to soak up that experience. There was an example of, I'm writing my next book, Cracking the Man Code. And this woman submitted a story about her and her boyfriend going to Hawaii. And they planned this beautiful trip. And as they landed, they're in this rental car and they're on their way to their Airbnb that they had rented. And her boyfriend was like in full on mission and like schedule mode. And he's like, all right, we're going to go to this grocery store. We can get the groceries and we can set up the house and we can do that. Then this snorkel shop closes by this time. We can get our snorkels and our boogie boards and our fins and all of this. And then we're going to be, and then tomorrow morning, we're going to do this. And meanwhile, she's looking out the window and she sees this gorgeous beach. And so she slides her hand into his and she says, honey, let's just take a deep breath and soak in this moment. I want to do all of that stuff. And would you be willing to drive me over to that beach right there? And so she saw him like shift out of his one mission and into the next. And he's like, yeah. And he pulls the car over and they go to this beach and they take off their shoes and they walk in the sand. And she could see him begin to shift out of this get it done energy into this, let's experience this energy. And she hugged him and she pulled him close and their toes were sinking in the sand and they walked into the water and the water was like soaking their airplane clothes and they're having this beautiful moment of hugging and kissing. And she felt him sink into this present moment and this big smile spread across his face. And he said to her, thank you for helping me get here into Hawaii, like get into this moment. Like I'm ready to relax now. I'm ready to be on vacation mode now. One of the things that helps your man generate this sense of peace is you helping him move into the present moment. The A in peace stands for accept yourself. And here's why this matters so much. To create this sense of peace and home in the relationship, when you accept yourself more fully, you love yourself more fully. In other words, you dial down the voice of self-criticism. You dial down the voice of condemnation when you make a mistake. You forgive yourself. You're easier on yourself. When that dials up, you're creating a field or an environment where your man is free to accept himself, where your man is free to say, I know I'm not going to be perfect and it's okay. As you're accepting yourself, he feels more accepting of himself, and then you're free to be yourself. You're free to live more fully and more expressive. And so if you would love a tool to help you with this, a reminder of this, one of the great things we can do to love ourselves is through specific meditations that evoke the energy of love. And so if you would like that, I've created a tool for you called the Self-Love Activation Toolkit. And it comes with a journal, comes with a meditation, and it is free. And I've designed it for you to help empower you and support you in this area. So I'm going to have the team post the link in the description, post the link next to this video. You can click that link. You can tell us where you want us to send it, and we're going to send you a download to the Self-Love Activation Toolkit. It's a gift from us to you. The C in peace stands for certain. In other words, he is certain that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. You are dependable. You are reliable. You've got follow through. When you say you're going to call at a certain time, you call. When you say you're going to do something, you follow through. And when there are agreements being made and kept, that creates trust in the relationship. And when there's real trust, that foundation helps people relax because you know what to expect. When I started dating my wife, I remember being surprised and she was shocked when she said she was going to call at 7 and she called at 7. And I was like, whoa, you actually called at 7? She was like, yeah, because I told you I was going to call at 7. And why was it so shocking for me? Because I had just gotten out of a relationship with someone who was completely uncertain. If they said they were going to do something, it was like a 50-50 chance whether they would do it. And slowly it began to erode the trust that I had in the relationship, the trust that I had in myself, in choosing a partner. I was so impressed with the certainty that she brought to the relationship that it helped me relax. It helped me feel grounded and helped me feel at peace. And finally, the E in peace stands for engage the fun. In other words, having the mindset that life isn't happening to us, that we can actually create fun. We can create joy. We can create the laughter. And it's this attitude where you're not taking everything so seriously, right? It doesn't mean that we're ignoring our feelings or we're whitewashing everything or just being super positive for that sake. No, we're going to handle what needs to be handled, but you're also looking for reasons to laugh. My sister-in-law recently shared that one of the things that she looks for in friends is someone who is looking to laugh easily. That's a mindset. That's a way of being. And I love that. If you're able to roll through life and you're laughing and you're having fun, that feels life-giving. So there you have it, the PEACE acronym for what is it that creates peace in his world. My question for you is, what is it that helps you feel at peace in a relationship? I would love for you to share that in the comment section below. This is going to be super valuable. And know this, the love that you're seeking right now, the love that you would love to cultivate is seeking you back. That love is available to you. And as you continue to grow and stretch and learn and improve yourself, you're making available that love right here and right now. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.